This episode is made possible by the support we get from Fort Collins Kia. If you are in the market for any electric Kia, not only do they never add market adjustments, they will deliver your car to you anywhere in the 48 contiguous states for out-of-spec viewers. More information in the link in this episode's description. Hello and welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast channel. I'm your host, Isaiah. Acura has just released the first image of their new upcoming EV SUV, the Acura RSX. Now, before we talk more specific details about this upcoming car from Acura, we last talked about Honda's new generation of EVs. You can watch that video here in the iCard. It will also be in the description. But we talked about how Honda has an EV hub in Ohio, and they'll be producing some of their next generation electric vehicles. And we talked about these zero concepts and how the first EV to come out of the Ohio hub from Honda will be the Honda Zero SUV. Well, Acura has already shown their full prototype vehicle for their next EV, which is expected to come this year, 2025, out of Ohio. And this is Acura's own platform, Honda's own platform, right? We know the Honda Prologue, which is actually selling really well in the United States. That is based on all the high voltage architecture, the battery, the motors, that is using General Motors Ultium platform. And so this is not something that Honda owns or utilizes or expects to use for their own EVs. Now, Honda says that the Prologue will have a full life cycle, so this is not something that's going to immediately replace, right, the Prologue and Acura ZDX that we currently have. However, this new platform is just going to expand and extend how good Honda and Acura's EVs are, as they claim. And so this is the Acura RSX. You've likely seen this nameplate before. That's because this nameplate has been used in the past with the Honda Integra. So the Honda Integra and Acura RSX were like siblings, of course, right? The Acura was just the more premium version of the Integra. And it's funny how Honda is revitalizing a lot of their older names, right? We got the Integra sedan, which was recent. We got the Honda Prelude. I wonder if Acura fans were expecting to see a two-door coupe from Acura, which would use the RSX nameplate. But Acura swooped right underneath them and said, hey, nope, we're using this nameplate for a mid-sized EV SUV. Similar to the uproar we saw with the Mustang, right? EV, the Mach-E, and how they've taken this sporty name and transferred it to a mid-sized sporty EV SUV. Let's just kind of jump over right into what Acura has to say. And I have this release saying Acura today announced that the premium performance brand's next generation EV will carry the RSX nameplate. Based on the Acura Performance EV concept, you can watch our video over here from Out of Spec. Kyle did an entire video about the performance concept, which then turned into this prototype, the Acura RSX. The all-new Acura RSX will be the first model engineered on the new Honda-developed EV platform and mark the launch of the new proprietary ASIMO OS operating system introduced by Honda at Honda CES. So ASIMO is the Honda Acura new operating software. We know how great software is for vehicles and important it is. Tesla, Rivian, Volkswagen, right? Clearly, software is a big part of electric vehicles, which have become so software-defined and interconnected. And I mean, it's just a gigantic piece of technological hardware. Software is important, and so Honda Acura knows this, so they have their ASIMO operating software. The ASIMO is named after the Honda robot. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with like the Honda robot that Honda has. Importantly, the all-electric premium SUV also will be the first EV produced at the Honda EV Hub in Ohio, which is scheduled for production later this year. Development, testing, and real-world conditions of the all-electric RSX begins this week, with prototype models driving around in a unique camouflage wrap design by the global Acura design team. Now, this picture we have here on screen of the Acura RSX, this rear shot, is all that was provided so far. So I have really no idea what the interior or the front profile or the full side profile looks like, but this gives us an idea, right? It is objectively another mid-sized EV SUV, and those are selling well. It'll be good to see how well this sells among Acura's lineup. The ZDX is doing okay, but Honda marks that they have amazing brand loyalty. According to Honda, the Prologue, 55% of buyers bought the Prologue because they like Honda, which I think just speaks a lot to the brand loyalty. And we again know the Prologue did super well in 2024. And so it will be interesting to see how well this Acura RSX does with the brand loyalty we see from Honda and Acura. The nameplate pays homage to the Acura RSX with its coupe-like silhouette, but it truly represents a forward-looking approach to fun-to-drive performance, said Mike Langle, Assistant Vice President. Acura national sales are second all-electric SUV will solidify our EV credentials even as its ICE stablemates. And then they have their new ADX, which is coming later this year as well. And then, of course, their other gas-powered vehicles. And I think, right, although the ZDX is great, they're actually not really like highlighting the ZDX in this press release here, right? I think Acura, Honda knew what they were doing, taking these Ultium vehicles and releasing them, but it isn't Honda, right? It isn't something that Honda has built from the ground up. Even the BZ4X from Toyota is something that Toyota has built from the ground up, and I think it really speaks to what Toyota is capable of, and Honda is really showing what GM is capable of outside of, design and interior design. I think they really want to show from the ground up what they're capable of in terms of performance and range and efficiency in an entire vehicle package. And again, this comes after the performance EV concept, right? The RSX nameplate is a two-door sporty coupe. I'm hoping that the RSX is no exception. I hope that it is something sporty, something full, and isn't just a kind of just mid-sized EV disguised with a fancy name and maybe a little sporty trim. I hope this actually embodies what a sporty EV should be like. But yes, look, guys, I'm super excited. This is all we know so far about the Acura RSX. I expect to see a lot more of this within the coming months, more pictures. I mean, they're starting testing soon, and so begins this week. And same thing for the Honda 01 concepts, which I talked about in our last video. We're going to soon see the release of the Honda Zero SUV, which will have an actual name. I wonder if Honda will revitalize an older name or they'll come up with something new like they did for the Prologue. But Honda is releasing their full bespoke, right, built in company EVs. And I mean, what's to hate about that? Because Honda Acura is releasing their full in-house EVs, and so now we're seeing what Acura Honda is fully capable of. But that's all we know for so far. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Out of Spec podcast. My name is Isaiah, and I'll see you guys in the next one.